Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and I want to try to do a quick review on The Family Business, which is that show that's on BET. Y'all, so like I told y'all before, old girl sat up here and killed the meal ticket that was gonna get her twin brother back, right? So I'm looking like, oh my gosh, this heifer is so reckless. Y'all, tell me why. Y'all, they got me. Normally, I can kind of see stuff coming, especially when it's like a BET type of situation. You can kind of see stuff coming from a mile away. Y'all, they ended up trying to scramble and figure out what they were going to do in order to salvage the situation. Because what you're going to do, you have nothing to trade to get the brother back. So everybody's trying to figure out what they're going to do. Y'all, so they ended up going to like this junkyard, trying to follow leads to try to find out where the luxury vehicle was or the actual tow truck thing that was carrying it, right? And so I'm just like, okay, cool. Y'all, so they go and it's Paris, which is the one who killed the guy, was seducing him, had sex with him, all that stuff. All of her brothers, including the guy who was the one who is going to be over the family business now, Orlando. The other brother, I think they call him Junior. And yeah, like a couple of others. Y'all, these people are in here and they were talking to this. I think he was African or something. And he was like, did you see anything? The dude kept saying, I see nothing. I haven't seen anything. So then dude got scared. And, when you dealing with him, what's his name? LC, the father of the family. When you dealing with somebody like him, you kind of are on edge. So then, like out of nowhere, a shootout starts happening. So they end up shooting. I think they shot the African dude that he seems to have been over the junkyard or whatever you want to call it, the little scrap yard. They shot him. They were trying to shoot the daddy. Paris was right next to him, right? And so Paris saw everything first. So she was like, Daddy, no, Daddy, move. So she ended up pushing her daddy out the way, y'all. The most was happening. People was getting shot left and right. The other people who, were trying to ambush them. So they ended up shooting her daddy. And it was crazy, y'all. But it's funny because before all the little shootout went down, Paris's daddy was going off on her and was like, how could you do this? He tried to, apparently he has been like trying to play the whole family. I don't know if the mother's in on it or not, but like at least her siblings, he's trying to play everybody like, I put you through finishing school. I can't believe you're doing this. I know you know better. And he tried to pull a card in that moment. And so she was like, Daddy, I don't know why you keep saying that. I haven't been to finishing school. I was in mercenary school. I was learning how to be a mercenary. He sent her to a place to be a covert type of person. Y'all, I know I'm saying it wrong. I don't know why I can't think of how to say it. But yeah, he sent her to school to learn how to kill. And like she's nice with the gun. That's why she was able to kill old dude so quick. Even though the guy was bigger than her. And, he was in a vulnerable position. She's still way smaller than him and all that. You would have thought he would have been able to get the gun and do all the other stuff. But yeah. She was nice with that gun. She was like killing people. She was doing the most. But he sent her away to I don't know why I want to say mercenary, but that's not it. I don't know what's wrong with me, y'all. I don't know. I get so like worked up, excited, and I end up mixing up the words. I don't even know why. It's so crazy. But for her to be able to, not a ninja, But yeah, she's supposed to be able to be one of those people where you can send her into a situation and she can do what she needs to do, but I mean, really be able to just go in and kill somebody, you know. That's what he sent her to. So they were literally in the middle of the argument. Then the shooting started. So like I said, after all was said and done, the daddy was shot. But before all that, one of the brothers went into the pockets of one of the people, you know, to see what was going on. One of the people they shot and killed, wounded, or whatever happened to the dude. Come to find out, this dude had Alejandro's card in his pocket. So I'm looking like, what? Y'all, so it was a dire situation with the father, so ain't nobody had time to talk about that at the moment, but, whatever. Y'all, they ended up having to take him to this woman's house, and I guess she is a doctor, and she was just doing that particular work under the table for him, you know what I'm saying? So, and they had to lay low on top of that because everybody is under the impression that Alejandro has sent all these people there to snuff them out. You know what I'm saying? Since none of this stuff is going the way they want it to go. And it's like they feel like they've been had, and maybe he knows of what has happened to his son already, on top of the drugs not coming like they should because the shipments have been put on hold. Y'all, the most has been going on. This episode, a whole lot happened, and I was just like, why is so much happening? And this is just I think the third episode. Y'all, they doing the most. Okay, so I told y'all about how Tammy Roman's character, London, she met this dude, and, she is in deep lust with this guy. She really, really likes him. Okay, after this situation happened with her daddy, she's out and about. She has one of the people chauffeur her around in one of the big, kind of armored vehicles. And she's with the young daughter again and talking to her. And the same guy who tried to snatch her purse rolls up in front of the truck. And so she was telling the driver, go ahead and get him some money so they can go on and get out of the way. So the daughter was like, Mommy, isn't that the same guy that we saw the other day? And so she was like, yeah, that sure is him. So she was, trying to tell the dude, just give him some money so he can go on somewhere, whatever. Man, that man politely shot him. I was like, oh my gosh. Like somebody came up from out of nowhere and shot him. And then they ended up kidnapping her daughter. And they sped off with her. And I was just like, what in the world? Y'all doing the most. Kidnapped the girl. I said, Lord have mercy. Don't nobody have time. So then they keep panning back and forth to RC's wife on the phone, trying to get in contact with him. Because she was just like, we need to get a handle on all this stuff. She really is going off in the messages. She was like, you need to answer my phone calls, whatever. Y'all. So the grandson, he, like I said, he's not just an ordinary boy. Y'all, the father ends up pulling through, but barely. And London ends up coming into the room that he's in. It was like, oh, Daddy. They took, I forgot what the little girl's name, Ayana, whatever her name was, took the daughter. And he was like, oh, no, somebody need to give me some clothes so I can get, he said it all the way off. I'm like, you barely can move. You barely made it through the night. He said it all the way off over the grandchild. He was like, oh, somebody get me some clothes. I got to get up from here. I was like, oh, my gosh. So he ended up telling the grandson to get the information on certain people. So they ended up... he has these little drives that he has stored in random places or whatever. So he ended up putting it up on the big screen, showing all the brothers, and was telling, his uncles. And, for them to see. And so the father was going over everything and saying, okay, this person is in relation to Alejandro. This is who they are. This is who this person is. And so London walks into the room while they're discussing the guy that she's been screwing. And she was like, said what his name was. It was like, why are you bringing him into this? Because his last name is different. That's not his last name. His last name is this. And they were like, no, this is what his last name is. And so she was like, huh? So then, her husband is in the room. Her whack husband is in the room. He was like, how do you know him? And so, she kind of like ignored him and was like, so then it got to the point where everybody was like, but how do you know him? So, it had to come out that, he was this guy that she met and whatever. So they were like, yeah, it's not what you think. There's something wrong with this dude. Man, tell me why the scene that they went to where they had her brother, I think both of her brothers, and they all like went up this fire escape. And I was like, where are you going with these? Y'all got to see it. She has these heels on, going up like one of those, you know how those New York fire escapes are. She's going up some kind of fire escape to go to the location that they think that the child is at. That is where the child was at. And so then the girl was like, Mommy. And I was just like, BET, y'all fired again. Because this girl was over here. I was like, oh, there's Mommy. And her mama was nowhere in the frame at all yet. Like, she was still coming up the fire escape and everything. Y'all, I was tired. Anyway, so they ended up coming in there. They had the guns drawn on him and was like, and they set it off. So she was like, y'all put y'all guns down. And they like mad, like, nah. And she was like, y'all put y'all guns down. I know what I'm doing. So she was telling him, like, you need to give my child back. He was like, nah, this has been my meal ticket the whole time. This is going to get me out of the situation that I'm in. So she going to come with me and she going to stay here. So she was like, look, I don't want to have to do this, but I will kill you if I have to. He was like, no, you ain't going to do nothing. I'm leaving here with her. Man, when I tell you London dropped him where he stood, it was hilarious because she did like most people who are parents. They be like, now, baby, do you remember what Mommy told you when we were at the firing range? And so she was like, yeah. The girl politely plugged her ears and her mama ended up shooting him. I was like, oh, gosh. And so she ended up getting like, everybody looked at her like, wait a minute. And it was hilarious because Junior was like here for it. And Orlando was just like, oh, my gosh, I can't believe she did this. And Junior tried to explain to him, like, you don't understand what a person would do for their child. And then he was like, before there was Paris, there was London. And I was like, if you don't shut up. Because London is the oldest of the daughters or whatever, y'all. So, y'all, that was great. I was glad that they were able to get her back. Y'all, but anyway, in between time, London's husband, the dude who been cheating and doing the most, he, like I said before, he had been propositioned by this guy. And it got to the point where he was like, look, I need for you to kill LC. And so, he was like, I don't know if I could do that. He's been like the father I never had. You know what I'm saying? And so he was like, look, he don't value you. You see what he did for that business. He ended up giving it to the ungrateful sons and all this other stuff or whatever. And so, in his mind, he's still mad about that situation. And I'm like, why are you so mad about something that was never yours to begin with? You are not related to them. You married into the family. So I don't understand why you thought that you automatically were going to get the business when he retired. Like, it makes no sense to me. But in his mind, it makes perfect sense. So anyway, the dude ended up giving him like a, what is it? Some kind of handgun, y'all. I don't know why I can't think of the name of it. And he was like, you need to do it and it needs to happen tonight. So like I said, he is, at this point, this was before she even rushed in talking about the child getting abducted and all this other stuff, kidnapped. So he ended up taking the gun from the dude and, he was like, you need to do this. And this guy was making all these moves in order to take over the drug part of the business or whatever. And so he was like, you do what you do what you need to do. You will have everything that you ever wanted and then some. So, of course, all these dollar signs and him being able to be seen as the head honcho started flashing in his mind. And I'm just like, oh, you're just so stupid. Y'all, so he ended up going to where he was at, where LC was at. And like he literally was like literally on his deathbed. And so like he was kind of unconscious still at that time. He was sitting up there trying to maneuver and figure out how he was going to shoot him. And he was in there by himself at this point. And so he was in there like fidgeting with the gun. And then he was like, oh, I can't kill him. Oh, I'm trying. I can't kill him. Then he ended up with this pillow like he was going to try to smother him. And then his wife walked in. So he ended up having to make it seem like he was like fixing the pillow so they could put it up under him. So then he ended up putting it up under his head. He was like, oh, that is so sweet. He has always been like a father to you. And I was just like, this fool was just about to kill your daddy. Y'all, so the father, after the situation happened, and he told him, look, you're going to have to come with me so we can have a talk. So the father, he ends up being very, very smart. Like, he figured out that, there had to be somebody feeding information to this dude, what's going on. Y'all, the whole situation was a setup from the jump. The husband knew about it, too. So the guy who they found who had Alejandro's card, he ended up getting it from the guy who the husband is trying to be in cahoots with. Y'all, because like I said, LC knew what time it was. He got tired and he was like, you know what I'm saying? He's, giving him this whole little speech. And he was like, this don't make, he was like, why would you do this to me? And he was just like, I wanted that business and, I ended up not doing it. And I'm just like, but you only didn't do it because your wife walked in. Like, if you had a little bit more time by yourself, you might have, thought a little bit harder on it and tried to kill him. So, he did the both. So, LC decided that he was going to basically, try to see if he could build that trust back up with him because of how things have been in the past. And, like, this was his first offense. So he was like, any other time, somebody would just be dead. No questions asked. But you're my daughter's husband. And I'm just like, sir, he could have killed. And I really thought he was going to kill him. And I was just like, oh, well, because she ain't been happy in a long time anyway. So I wouldn't have cared if I was her. Y'all, so anyway, it got to a point where Paris was like, look, I messed up. I got to make it right. And they were like, well, yeah, it wasn't going to work if we tried to go to California to get him because they know what we look like. They would never see you coming. So they ended up booking her a flight and she went and they had a car waiting on her that had like guns and stuff in the trunk, in the lining and all that stuff. And so she ended up finding out where he was at, which was at Alejandro's house. And, she scoped it out and she saw him and then she found out that they were going to take him to this gay club he wanted to go to because they were like, yeah, tomorrow your dad is going to deliver my son. So since he's going to make good on everything, I guess I'll give you a little leniency. And, I'll let you do some stuff you want to do. So he had already let him be on the internet a little bit and they monitored, to make sure he wasn't doing nothing crazy. But, he was like, I'm going to let you go ahead and go out. So he got excited. So that night, he literally doesn't know anything that's about to happen. He went to the gay club. They escorted him to the gay club. And, of course, his guards aren't gay. So she walked into the club and she had all these different things. You know how people can be. She had these needles that had some kind of concoction in it. And she made eye contact with him and he was here for her. And she made it look like she was interested in him, was like flirting with her eyes. And so when she rolled up, she ended up stabbing him right in the neck with the concoction. So he went down. And so the other dude that's a bodyguard, he went to the bathroom. And so when he came back, he was trying to wake the dude up and he couldn't wake him up. So then they end up all trying to scramble and figure out what's going on. She ended up taking the brother and they drove off. So they ended up, being close behind. So they ended up in the shootout. Y'all, when I tell y'all, I was like, okay, this finna be some bull. They were in some alley and it was a shootout. And then it got to the point where Alejandro was on the phone with the father and them trying to understand, what was going on, because he was like, I don't understand why you're doing this to us. We told you that we had your son and that we were gonna, exchange him, even though, no information had, been exchanged about him getting killed by, the daughter, of course. Y'all, and he was like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. He was like, they kept saying, I don't understand why y'all are betraying us like this. And Alejandro has no idea what they're saying. Like, what are you even talking about? Like, that's why he's looking at them like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Y'all, like I said, it ended up being a setup. And Alejandro was like, well, the only person I gave the card to was, I forgot, y'all, I can't remember that dude. That dude is so grimy. Alejandro only gave his card to him, right? And so he was looking like he set us up from the jump. So once he realized that, he was like, look, I just want us to be able to go back into business like we were before. I want everything to be squared away. I want everything to be back on equal footing like it was before, y'all. So they ended up saying, well, they have people right now in a shootout trying to kill my sister and my brother. Tell them to call it off. So they ended up calling it off just in time because they had ran out of bullets. And people was about to get close up on them and kill them. And so they had stopped shooting and walked away. So it was like, they looked like they walking away. They going on about their business. And they were. So they was like, oh, well, that was good timing. And, they had no idea that was going on. That the phone call had been made and all that stuff. So anyway, they ended up going, bringing him back home. And, had a nice little family reunion. Y'all, I'm so tired. I'm not really tired. It's just, I have anemia and it makes me so sleepy that it makes me yawn. Ooh, Lord, I wonder what's going on. Jesus. Y'all, the ambulances and things doing the most right now. Y'all, but anyway. So, they ended up getting him back, y'all. But this is what they had to do in order to save themselves since Paris killed that dude. Y'all, so they talking to Alejandro. And so he was like, well, I know you got your son back, so, you got to honor me and have my son given back. And it was like, you told me you were going to get my son back. So before they got on the phone, Orlando was like, do you want me to call him or you? And he was like, I think it'd be best if I call him. So the daddy ended up calling Alejandro and was like, look, I'm honoring my word. And so he all happy because he about to be reunited with his son. He was like, but I'm going to return your son, but he's not going to be returned to you alive. And so he was like, what? Like he was about to get mad. And then LC came up on the spot with the perfect story that anybody would believe. He was like, well, when we were trying to release him, he thought that we were still gonna, bring harm to him. So he started fighting us. And he ended up getting shot in the process because he wouldn't calm down and all this other stuff. He was like, yeah, it sounds exactly like my son. And so, man, he literally was on the phone with him. And then they had him delivered to his house in a hearse. Man, Alejandro started crying. Y'all, I was like, I want him to drop a tear. Come on, drop a tear. Y'all, because I live for the actor. Y'all, he had the face down, but he wouldn't drop a tear. I was like, somebody please get a teardropper or something. Somebody please do that little drop over his eye, like from up above or something. Like the tear wouldn't come for nothing, y'all. I was so mad. But anyway, that was a pretty good episode. I enjoyed myself this particular time. Like, it was really good. So, I think it's something that, you might want to check out. So go ahead and watch that. Like I told y'all before, it's on BET. Anyway, I'm about to get off of here. Try to relax a little bit. So y'all have a wonderful evening. Take care. Bye.